have repeated, do you think that that's gotten through to everybody else in the Democratic Party? Because, you know, you also mentioned at the top that it is very of the Democratic Party to write an op-ed in the New York Times. I said to write a strongly worded letter, and that feels like the Democratic Party that I've always known. This idea that, you know, as long as we just kind of expect democracy to work or confer some degree of goodwill to the other side, that maybe it'll be reciprocated. Do you think that the gravity of this moment has gotten through to the rest of the party? Because not every governor in this country is going to be you or Maura Healey, you know? We should be so lucky, but they're not. And so do you think it's gotten through?
It's getting through. Look, these guys are ruthless. We're trying to, again, win arguments. They're consolidating power. You know, enough. And the asymmetry is real. These propaganda networks, the primetime lineup at Fox, I'll just remind you, you know this, that Laura Ingraham herself is a partner in a business deal with Donald Trump Jr. I mean, it's Pravda. What's happening in Sinclair, One American News, Newsmax, the asymmetry in terms of their ability to flood the zone and communicate is extraordinary. And so again, for things to change, I'll keep saying it, we have to change. It's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to what happens to it. And so we need to change our tactics, and you're seeing it. We saw JB he did a remarkable job. We were just with him in Chicago in response to what happened, again, in the preview of what was to come in Chicago after what happened in DC. And of course, you saw the same with Governor Walz. And I never thought, I'll tell you again, never thought I'd get a call like this. Just a few months ago, I get a call from Walz, and I'm like, how you doing, pal? He's like, hey, I thought it would be you first, he tells me. But it's me. I could use a little help. I said, whatever you need. He goes, for my legal defense fund. A sitting governor calling another governor, quite literally, to raise money because he's under criminal indictment by Donald Trump. Saying the mayor, we forgot about that. These guys are not screwing around. You think for a second that's not likely to happen out on the West Coast? This is different. He's an invasive species. And so, you know, if nothing else, Brian, it's awakening up our immune system. And it's so often the case, isn't it? I mean, it's, you know, how many extraordinary moments you've had up here with historians and authors. It's always the case, it's the people first. You know, Justice Brandeis, the most important office is the office of citizen. It's not president, governor, mayor. Office, active, not inert citizenship. And you're seeing that at the No Kings rallies. You saw it in that second one. People, you saw it in the steel spines of the folks in Minnesota. That's why Trump's in retreat. That's why Kristi Noem was just fired. It was those folks, it was you, all of you standing up, meeting this moment. So, yes, I think we're getting the message. And there are a lot more messengers, and I think there's a lot more activity and action and passion in the spirit of Oliver Wendell Holmes that is being shared all across this country.
To what extent do you think that the fact Trump and his acolytes feel so emboldened to act the way that they are, that's born out of an unwillingness to hold them to account the first time?
Look, you know, I think about, you know, Trump is Trump, but, you know, Speaker Johnson, you know, Lindsey Graham, I thought the two most effective anti-Trump surrogates was a guy named J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. But you know this, and we've talked about this. I've gotten so frustrated that, you know, I even put up a Patriot site. You can go online, and on my Patriot site, I sell knee pads. And the good news, Brian, is we have a new Trump signature series knee pads. The old ones sold out, just like our law firms are selling out, just like our universities are sold out, just like corporate leaders are sold out, just like members of the media have sold out. And they've got to be called out. I'm sorry. We'll lose this country. The complicity at this moment, trying to make a deal with Donald Trump. Or those that are also complicit, they're putting their head down and hoping it just all goes away. I mean, I just left Jesse Jackson's memorial, talking about this notion we have agency. We can shape the future. We're not bystanders of the future. The future's not in front of us, it's inside of us. It's decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future. That's the spirit, the vernacular. That's the spirit of Kennedy, the spirit of the 60s. You know, it's how you solve for ignorance and poverty and disease. And so I think it's the spirit that defines this moment. So that complicity also needs to be called out much more aggressively, because at the end of the day, my summation of Trump is it's really not complicated. It's a corruption story. Everything connects to that, just like the tariffs. He had to come face to face with a co-equal branch of government. It was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? You saw that press conference last Friday or the Friday before, and it wasn't about our country as much as it was about his personal portfolio. And you think, again, I'm overstating it, just consider the tariffs dropped 26% in Vietnam right after the Vietnamese approved the $1.5 billion golf course and development. That's what the IEEPA meant to Trump. It's about his personal portfolio. And you say, well, hold on, that's not fair. Well, let's go to the UAE. Let's talk about the $2 billion there. World Liberty Financial. Let's talk about the high-valued chips that were sent in return for the $2 billion. This is a grift the likes of which we've never experienced in history of this country at a scale unprecedented. And all these guys want to get in on it. Every one of these foreign trips, who was the first envoys out there? Members of the family, people in business. What's this? Board of peace. It's about getting a piece of the Middle East. Come on. You got to call this out. It's not complicated. It's in plain sight. And there's a timidity. You know, in Bobby's language. You know, the world needs are the qualities of youth, not a time of life, a state of mind, a quality of imagination, predominance of courage over love of ease. This notion of courage over love of ease at this moment. And so, again, forgive, my mom, I wrote about her in this book, who's passed away 20 years ago. She'd probably be washing my mouth out with soap. And forgive me, Mom. But I just feel like this moment requires us to radically shift. Conventional politics no longer applies.